Hi, so I wanted to take the time to introduce myself. My name is Victoria. Recently, I was searching for a platform for single moms. I went through a very traumatic and unusual experience. The father of my two children that I was with for 10 years was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He, over the course of a month, became very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not in touch with reality. It got to the point where I had to bring him to get hospitalized. And at that point, 2 days after being in a mental facility, I came to visit him, and he asked me, "So what's your name? Where do you live?" And at this point, I had our 2-year-old in our own home, and I was 7 months pregnant for our son. This was a really hard time in my life, and by the grace of God, I was able to really let this sit in my soul just comfortably. I had to hand over every picture in my mind of what my future was going to look like and what my kids' future was going to look like. And eventually I got to the point that, lean not on my own understanding, and I had to give it to God, and I did that wholeheartedly, and I was so at peace. Oddly enough, I was so at peace. So that was over a year ago now. This was the hardest thing I had ever gone through. This is not something that you hear about. This is not, your typical Facebook drama between relationships. The person that I loved, I truly feel like his soul died with him in October of 2017. But afterwards, through all this, sorry, got a little emotional on you. After all of this, I was searching for a platform for single moms, or, moms that were dating, or Christian moms, and there really isn't much out there, to be honest with you. I know I say a lot, and I apologize. I then came to the idea, okay, well, why not start my own platform? I am a full believer in Christ. I know that he died for me, and I know that he has a plan for my life. And I actually named my son after one of the books in the Bible. His name is Roman. He is the most wonderful, happy little soul. He can light up any room. He will make you fall in love with him within 5 minutes. He is so beautiful. And I feel like his life in particular has so many things that are going to prosper just from me giving him the name that he has. I feel like he's going to do so many wonderful things, whether it be through, hopefully one day, the success that I have, and I'm able to reach other single moms who are just losing hope and they just don't understand. It's not for you to understand, and I know that it's hard. I need you to parent every day and love your kids every day as if a pastor of your church was sitting in your living room. I know it's hard to be patient, and it's easy to lose your patience and to become so frustrated because you don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know essentially what God has in store for your life. But I promise, just give it to Him. Just allow Him to have your soul and have your peace of mind. I challenge you today. Just sit for 5 minutes, even if it's after your kids go to sleep. It could be during nap time. You know, if you're watching this today or another day, just sit in a room, nothing on, and just listen. He's talking to you, I promise. He's going to tell you what direction to go in. Anything that is meant for your life will not be forced. He's going to make a plan for where your future is meant to go and where you are meant to be. It doesn't matter what you do. He's going to steer you in that direction. So any door that continuously is trying to close, just let it be. Just let it be. And I know that's so scary. But not too long after what happened with my children's father, let's say about 8 or 9 months later, I was very content. I was happy with just me and my kids, and just the thought that I was going to be a single mom raising 2 kids, because who was going to want me with 2 kids? Who was going to want me with just trying to co-parent, or the idea that someone who is mentally unstable and, in a state of psychosis. And it became very scary at one point. So, I had a restraining order and things like that. Like, that does not sound appealing to any man. It's not something that anyone would want to take on. And I couldn't blame anyone for that, because I wouldn't ask anyone to do that. So at some point I became very content with the idea that it was just going to be me and my babies, and it was just going to be us, maybe until they were of age that they could take care of themselves and they were out of my house or whatever I had to do. And little did I know, I got a phone call from my mom on a Tuesday night. I'll still remember. It was July 12th, probably 8:30 at night, and my mom texted me and she said, "Hey, when you're ready to date, I have someone for you." Like, okay, Mom, no, get out of here. Like, I'm not anyone that you're gonna recommend to me as a potential candidate for this crazy life. Probably not my type. So she FaceTimed me, and I answered the call, and she was at her friend's house, and they were having Taco Tuesday, drinking margaritas. I'm like, "Mom, are you drunk?" I'm like, "It's okay, just tell me." At that point, she was like, "No, I know this Christian," which is her friend, said, "I know this really nice guy, and he actually is in a similar situation, and he has 2 beautiful children, and I think that y'all would be really great together." And little did I know that FaceTime call was going to change everything. Nicholas came into my life, and at first, it was just so comfortable. I had never felt anything so comfortable. It didn't give me butterflies. It didn't give me anxiety or make me anxious. It didn't give me that, giddy feeling. It was just so comforting. The minute that I was with him or that I hugged him, every ounce of anxiety in my body was gone. Every worry in the world was gone. I was just content. And that's a beautiful feeling, to be content. People don't understand how essentially just how fortunate you are if you are content. Because if you're content, then that also could mean that, there's no growth happening, but that it could also mean that you are in a place of serenity and you are in a place of peace. And that in itself is just so beautiful. And it's just so rare. But here we are almost a year later, and we have a family of 6, me and him, and we have a son that is 7, and his daughter is 3. My daughter is 3. She's 1 month older than his. So October, my daughter turned 3. November, his daughter turned 3. And then my son just turned 1 in December. And it is the most chaotic, as you can imagine, for them little weasels. It is the most chaotic and hilarious, every day, all day, never ending event, just to give it to you short. So I really hope that I can essentially build not a brand, but a community for women that are just needing hope, and they're just, seeking companionship, and they just can't seem to find it, and they're like, who's ever gonna want me with kids, and who's gonna want to raise my kids, and who's gonna want to deal with, I hate this term, by the way, but baby daddy drama and baby mama drama. I hate that term. But there's hope for you, and I feel like when you essentially allow God to really come into your heart and give you peace, and you give him full access to your happiness and to your fulfillment, that is when he's going to essentially feel like you are ready to allow the person that is meant for you in your life. So I know that this was a very unput together video, and this is not at all something that looks like a professional based platform and background, and there's like a lot of stuff going on back there, but I hope that you can feel that I'm pouring my heart into this, and that someone out there can benefit from the experiences that I've had, and the positivity that I want to give, and the hope that I want to implement in your heart. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you back. Thanks.